Hey, what's going on, everyone? Tyler Boronski. You're watching my YouTube channel where I'm sitting down with recognizable faces in entertainment and in the digital space. Today's guest has done a really great job of finding creative ways of just expressing her love for her favorite characters, everyone's favorite characters, through her TikTok videos, photo shoots on Instagram. She's done cosplay for characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, you name it, and has been able to monetize her love for these characters through developing her following on TikTok, over 4.5 million people, and just her partnerships with brands such as Hot Topic. She's Taya Miller. So Taya, thanks for making time to do this. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me. Also, that made me sound so much cooler than what I am. Oh my gosh.
We're here to hype you up. Taya, but you've done a lot of stuff already. And I mean, that's kind of what I want to start with too. We'll get into your journey in just a bit, but just some of the fun things you've been doing recently, living out in LA now. You've been attending all these big time LA movie premieres, the things, people dream to be at, to walk the red carpet, and you're kind of living that out. I mean, just to name some of the ones you've been at recently, I know you've been at more, but Spider-Man No Way Home, Eternals, Venom, Shang-Chi, Last Night in Soho. I know you were at an event yesterday for Redeeming Love. So when you're invited as a talent at one of these events, what's like the general standard procedure at one of these premieres?
Oh gosh, it completely depends on the franchise, or like the studio, because some of them will have like influencer specific carpets. Like Marvel, like the Eternals premiere, they had two separate carpets. One was for like influencers and like the non-actors and stuff, and then one was like for like the talent in the film. But then there's ones like the Black Widow premiere, which is more of a fan event. Like that was just like free reign, like we can walk wherever. Last night they had us walk the red carpet. That was like my first like real time walking the red carpet, like at the same time as like the talent and stuff. And I actually got to meet you're gonna have to excuse me, I do not remember the actress's name, but she played Jean Grey.
Okay, very cool. What are some of your favorite like celebrity encounters at these events now that you've been at quite a few of them over the last couple months?
I met Terry Crews at
No way.
And I was and he was just his energy was like so there. Like usually like whenever you meet celebrities, like they're kind of like, oh yeah, we can like get a photo. That's, like they're not like, but like Terry was like, yeah, let's get a photo. And I'm like, thank you, my mom's gonna be so happy. Like he was so sweet. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of like who else I've met. Simu Leo, he's an angel. I love him. Yeah, there's been quite a few.
You almost treat these like premieres as like a networking event in a way too. Like, yeah, obviously like the big time celebrities are there, but I mean, everyone's there. Like you said, other influencers now these days. You got the publicists, you got, behind the scenes people in the business side of this industry. Is it almost like a networking event in a way?
That's something that like I avoid. I'm not good at networking. Like I'm really, really bad at it. I literally have 3 like managers that help me with those things, because whenever I meet someone, like I don't want to know about like what they do, I just want to know about like them as a person. I just want to get to know them, so like it's never like, I don't know, I don't see it as a networking thing, more of just like going and like meeting people and not using them, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Like you're attached to the people that you actually like, just because of who they are. So you spoke about that a little bit. You have 3 managers, I guess, you're working with. How are you working your way to get invited to these premieres and events as a talent?
Something for myself that I think is really weird, because most of my other like career friends, they have management companies. Like I'm not signed under anyone, and most of them have like people who like find the premieres for them to go to, but like a lot of studios just like reach out to me individually through my email, which is like crazy to me. Like I'm I don't know, I don't think that, like, I don't know, self-talk, I gotta work on the self-talk, it's that. Yeah, so they'll reach out, and then I will send it over to I have like one main man, I call him my Hollywood dad, because he literally is like my dad. Like he just takes care of me. He's amazing, but he helps, and he talks to them, and it's like, okay, is this gonna be like beneficial for Taya? Like, is she gonna like enjoy it? Is she gonna walk the red carpet? Like he fights my battles for me.
There you go. You got a visitor in the background right now too.
I know. I just adopted her. This is Nala. Yeah, she's 8, and I got her when I finally got settled in. She's an angel.
I want to actually talk about like one of the specific premieres, and it's one of the more recent ones, the Spider-Man No Way Home premiere. And I know you've talked about Spider-Man's literally one of your favorite, characters. So describe what that day was like for you.
Oh man. I woke up and it was like, okay, it's go time. Like it was like, you know, and of course me being the procrastinator that I am, or just like the stressful person that I am, I had a dress for the premiere prior to the day of. And in my brain, I was like, is it good enough? Is it good? So I'm like running around this mall for like 2 hours trying to find a better dress. I couldn't find one. The dress that I wore to the premiere was one that I had the whole time, and it was perfect. I don't know why, like second guess. So it started off stressful, of course, and then we drove up to LA and we got ready. We got a hotel room and everything, so we could like get ready. Like we had friends over and we had like, you know, a glass of wine and stuff, and we were like, hey, like this is happening, this is it. Like, because I feel like for a lot of creators, like in the pop culture area, like Spider-Man's our favorite superhero. You know, Spider-Man is so many people's favorite superhero. So like this premiere was like almost like our end game, you know? Like yes, there's things after, but like this was the big one. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of peak of the mountain type of deal. I got it.
And so we're all like super antsy, whatever, and we Ubered over to the premiere, and they had us walk the carpet prior to like all of the like big names there, which I think is a really, really good thing now that I look back at it, because there were so many celebrities there. It was ridiculous. Like Kid Cudi was there.
Oh no, just randomly.
Everyone, I swear. So we walked the carpet prior, and then they actually gave us the option to stand like in the fan pit that they put on the carpet. So we could meet like Tom Holland and Taya and everyone, but like our group was just like, no, we're gonna go like hang out. We went to California Pizza Kitchen, which is
wait, you chose California Pizza Kitchen over meeting Tom and Zendaya? I got a question on that one.
Sometimes you just need some good food and some good drinks, you know, like
I guess.
Yeah. But it worked out because there were two theaters, and me and my plus one ended up in the theater with like Tom Holland and Zendaya and Kid Cudi and Simu Liu and like all of the big names. And so there was one point where like Zendaya just walked in front of one of my friends and he was like, did anyone else just see it? Like what that? Like everyone was just like acting so casual, and like it was funny during the movie too, because like you have all of the creators like in the front. They put all the creators in the front, right? And so whenever, can I like spoil things?
Yeah. I'll put a spoiler graphic right now, a little music. Yeah, go for it. So
cool. So like whenever Andrew Garfield showed up, like we're all like screaming, and we realized like nobody else in the theater is like screaming. So we're like, so watching it in the theater was a totally different experience from the premiere, I would say, because like all the fans were like excited with us, which is really cool. But nonetheless, like it was an incredible experience. Oh, and then afterwards, I just so happened to have like accidentally picked the hotel that the after party was at. So we like get back and we walk in, and Tom Holland's just standing to the left of me, and I'm like, stop it right now. Like I didn't say anything because I was so nervous. I was like, Caleb, come to the room. Like,
sounds like a dream come true. By the way, go back to the Garfield thing real quick. One of my favorite things is now he doesn't have to lie about not being in the movie, because I love how there's like a compilation on YouTube of Andrew Garfield lying about being in Spider-Man No Way Home for 4 minutes straight, and just like he's probably dying for the longest time. So now he's a free man.
He won, correct me if I'm wrong, an Oscar for Tick Tick Boom, right? He should have gotten one for just like his ability to lie throughout all of the interviews. Like he deserves an Oscar.
He deserves an Oscar for his lying abilities. I agree. You avoided Tom Holland a couple times at this premiere, but I guess it's okay because you met him a couple months prior at the trailer premiere, where you got your question selected. And I want to make sure I get the question right. You asked him what his favorite characteristic of Spider-Man was. Thought he gave you a really thoughtful answer. He said his Spider-Man's greatest superpower is being Peter Parker because of his humility and his unable ability to just not do the wrong thing. So to get your question selected and to hear the type of answer he gave you, what was that moment like for you?
And for me as an actor, bringing that to life has been so fun, because it's sometimes incredibly frustrating. Sometimes I read these scripts or I perform these things and I just want Peter Parker to be selfish just one time, because he always puts everybody else first, and therefore he kind of shits on himself. So for me, it's his humility and therefore Peter Parker.
It was kind of my solidifying moment of like, this is my Spider-Man, you know, like. And don't get me wrong, I love Tobey Maguire, I love Andrew Garfield. I think each actor brings a different aspect to the character. But if I'm being completely transparent, the first two movies of Tom Holland's, I was just kind of like, okay, like we have a Spider-Man, but it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man, you know? And not only did No Way Home like bring that, like completely flip my perspective on everything. I'm like, wow, like this is like, it all makes sense, everything adds up, it leads to it, you know? But Tom Holland answering that question the way that he did just like solidified, like the way that he sees Spider-Man isn't just like, oh my gosh, I get to be a cool superhero. He cares about the character. He embodies Peter Parker so well, and like my appreciation for him just skyrocketed after that.
I want to go quickly to your career though a little bit, because you know, in 2019, early 2020, this is when like TikTok really started developing, like becoming like really at its height, and you started seeing like creators. So I was curious for you, like when did TikTok go from just being for fun and like a hobby to this is kind of becoming something? Like what's going on here?
I started TikTok, I want to say May of 2019, might have been April. Had a few videos like blow up, you know, like we're talking like 10,000 views-ish. And then I would say around August of 2019, I started consistently posting, because I was like, okay, like if I post more, then I get more engagement, whatever, like this is cool, you know, like I get to meet more people, I get to go like more events to meet more people, stuff like that. And then in January, I got invited out to Lucasfilm, and I was around like 500K at this point. I got invited to Lucasfilm, and then I had like this like, oh my God, like Disney sees me, you know, like they recognize me, like yeah. So that was like my first like big thing that happened. And then I want to say I hit 1 million followers right when the country went on lockdown around like March. And then over the course of the pandemic, just like continued to like blow up. And I want to say October of 2021. That's when I dropped out of college. It took so much convincing to let my parents be okay with this. But I dropped out of college because I was like consistently making money, and they were like, it's your life. And I was like, okay, like if worst case scenario, I can go back to college, you know what I mean? But like this opportunity has been presented to me and like could literally change my life forever. And so like, I feel like I need to take advantage of it. So it was a really, really hard shift. And honestly, going from like having a set schedule your entire life of like, okay, classes start at 8 a.m. every day and end at 5 p.m. and then you go to the gym and then you do this and then you go to bed, you know? Like I had that for 21 years. And then like October, it was like, okay, I'm like self-employed, like what? So it's been a hard like journey of learning like how to like even exist as a human being outside of school. So
yeah, I mean, we're like, to go in that a little more, like what were those times like where it might have felt overwhelming? And I don't necessarily mean that in like a negative way, but I mean, you kind of described like a point right there where you're making money, but you're still in college, and then you have the conversations with your parents about actually dropping out to, I guess, pursue this full time. So what were some of those times like when things were just a lot? You want some screen time, which we'll give her some screen time. So
yeah. So back before lockdown happened, actually, I was doing full-time classes. And I was a pre-vet marine biology major, intermixed with, I believe, a hospitality minor. I don't know. I was like so in between the two. So I was doing that. I had that full time. And then I was working a part-time job at the Starbucks at Universal. Love it there. I miss it so much. And then doing social media. And I want to say I averaged like 4 hours of sleep a night, but it was because I was so like passionate about everything that I was doing, you know, like between like school, Starbucks, which believe it or not, very passionate about Starbucks, and social media. So I was like, okay, like I need to like, I just want to do all of these things, you know? And so whenever I dropped out in October, it was like all of this free time. And I was like, it's like, okay, like I'm making the money, I'm doing the things, but like the fulfillment wasn't necessarily there. Cause like, I guess like school always had me like working towards something more, you know what I mean? And with social media, granted you can continue to work and like gain more followers, gain more viewers, stuff like that. But like for me, like the fulfillment just wasn't there anymore. And so now I'm adding on like acting classes and doing auditions and just kind of seeing like what other path I can take to kind of like make me feel fulfilled.
So obviously you developed your platform just through your cosplay characters. I think I saw someone like your Instagram story even like today or the other day ago, like someone you inspired to get into cosplay. And people love cosplay through, for different reasons. Maybe they want to feel like the character, they relate to them on some way, just going to the Comic-Con events and interacting with other people that have the same passion for it. So in a way, this is kind of a broad question on purpose, but what do you love most about cosplaying?
The main reason I started my platform was to encourage other people to be themselves and be comfortable with themselves and just embrace who they are. And I think currently that translates to like when I go to conventions like LA Comic-Con, just meeting the lives that I've impacted. And I think like over the course of the pandemic, like that's when I blew up, and that's when my numbers got so, but like it was so hard for me to like conceptualize it, because it's like I wasn't going to events, like I couldn't like meet these, you know what I mean? And so like post pandemic, it's like meeting everyone, like the lives that are impacted. It's crazy. At New York Comic Con, I read as I was leaving and like walking out the door. It was actually a really weird moment because we were supposed to leave for the airport like 10 minutes prior to when we were there. And I was like, I don't know, I feel like there's just like something like I need to stay here. And this girl came up to me and she was dressed in a Black Cat cosplay and she was crying, and she just like told me like how much I had impacted her life. And like I left there crying because I was like, there's no way that I impacted someone this much. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. And like there is such a responsibility that influencers and creators have, that like we impact lives so easily and so readily, and we have to be responsible with it.
100%. I mean, like after I graduated college, I worked with creators for a period of time, and it's true. It's like you go out in the public and people really, and in meet and greet events that they have, it's like people really do look up to you guys. And like I remember, like I was around Charlie D'Amelio when she was first blown up, and just like all these little girls and little boys, like how much they really looked up to her and how much of an impact she had. It's true. It's like you guys are important in their lives, and social media, you really feel connected to these different creators and like making friendships with them. Like I know you don't even really call your fans. I know you call them like just like friends at the end of the day. So, and it's like that.
I used to have this like thing that I said, it's so tacky, but like I stand by it. I used to say it all the time when I was like at like 500K on TikTok of followers are friends, not fans. Yeah, that's what it was.
Like they support you, you interact with them. And I think that's a difference too. Like creators, I feel like you get more interactions with the fans, where like maybe a traditional celebrity, it's probably harder to get in contact with them, but creators just seem more obtainable to speak with. So I get that from a fan perspective. I do want to ask, on your platforms, you talk a lot about body positivity, and I was wondering what type of, I guess, confidence or newfound confidence, like having this platform that you have now has given you to speak about topics you're passionate about.
Yeah. So I'm going to give like a slight trigger warning for like eating disorders before I start talking about this. I've struggled with my body like my entire life. And I've gone through a lot of different, I'm not going to go into specifics, but I've gone through a lot of different, I guess like phases of health. And it's been a journey for me, and it's been really hard, and it's so mentally exhausting. And when I first started TikTok, I was very confident in myself. You know, that's when I was like consistently working out, and I was like, I feel so good about my body, you know, and like I translated that because like at the end of the day, like this is who I am, you know, like this is my body in its present state. And that's something that I always like tell people is like you can work towards a better body, but still love the one that you're in right now. Like your body in your present state is just as valid as any other state it could be in. So whenever I first started my platform, like I was like, yeah, like love yourself, love who you are. And like transparently, like I've fluctuated like so much over the past couple of years, but like I've almost been teaching myself. Like I will go back and watch my old videos of my like encouraging words of like love your body in every state that it's in. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like you're right. So it's tough, and I understand it. And so I want to always try to help people in that way as well.
That was cool to hear. You are influencing and helping other people too, but in a way I like how it's almost like a personal just journey, and like for you to look back on too for yourself. So that's special. Last thing for you, because I've gone way over than what I told you I was going to for time wise. What's your short term like life like right now? You moved out to LA recently. I know you said you like studied marine biology in college. Like what's a short-term life like for you and what you're trying to do?
I think right now, honestly, for the first time like ever, I feel content, and that's like my happy. Like I feel like content is what happiness is. It's just like enjoying where you are in the present moment. That's what I've been working on. I do have a lot of projects in the work, but as Hollywood works, you know, you don't want to get your hopes up too much about them. But yeah, I'm just existing like as I am, and enjoying life as it comes day to day.
It's a good lesson. I think everyone needs to hear it. Myself included, we get caught up of like what's next, and you kind of forget what maybe opportunities are happening in the moment and just enjoying the time you're in. So Taya Miller, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.